County is located in Washington State, and it's about 2 hours from Seattle. Apparently there's ferries involved. Like we can take a ferry across. That's super cool.
Nice.
And today we're going to hear all about this wonderful island destination. We've got Big Blend travel writer Linda Kassam, the food, wine, and shopping diva. And she's also the president of the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association. But she's into, like, this whole summer she spent out in the Pacific Northwest doing British Columbia. She went to Oregon. She went all through Washington State. And I know this is, I know Diva Linda got her hooks in there, and that's how she made this conference happen for the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association. Again, everybody happening May 6th through 9th, 2018. But she has got two special guests joining us. We're going to hear about her adventures, but also chat with a couple of the folks from the islands. We've got Chef Vincent Natras of Orchard Kitchen, and we also have Scott Hale of Brand New Stay, who represents Island Inn at 123 West in Friday Harbor, and Leanto Glamping Sites at Moran State Park on Orcas Island. Like, you hear these harbors and islands like Orcas Island. Don't you want to go there?
Yeah.
From what I have learned, Orcas Island is not named after the whales, though.
Oh.
I know. There's a lot of history on these islands and a lot of good food. There's wine and distilleries, beautiful, luxurious accommodations and glamping. So what more do you want? But let's bring Linda Kassam, because she's a diva. We got to get her on first, because she didn't like to wait. Diva Linda, how are you?
I'm good, even though I did have to wait by my clock 3 minutes and 10 seconds, but not to worry. All's good.
Well, listen, I was promoting the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association conference because I know you had something to do with that, right? Because you're like, Madam Secretary, you're the president.
I'm the president, and having a boat up in Washington State in Anacortes, and having spent the last 3 summers there, it's something I want to share with our members. It's Washington in general is beautiful, but the islands are just phenomenal and exceptional. And if all you ever do is when you go to Washington State is go to Seattle, you're missing the best part of Washington.
And these islands, so this is like all the islands together in an actual county, right?
Yeah. There's the Whidbey and Camino Islands that are one type of island, and then you have the San Juan Islands, which is another group. So they're not contiguous. They're different. You have to get on either to get to Whidbey and Camino. You have to either drive from Seattle, which is about a 2-hour drive, or you can take a seaplane, or you can take a boat, or you can do whatever. But definitely to get into the San Juan Islands, you better be on a boat of some sort, whether it's a ferry or a pleasure craft.
Okay. I don't think the average person thinks about islands connected to Washington.
Yeah, I think you hear the word island, a lot of times we always think
right.
Fiji or something, or Bali. And,
right.
We don't always think about what we have in this country.
Right. Well, it's, like going to Coronado Island in California. You're not really thinking except we had the discussion about is it really an island because of its little spit thing. But generally, for Whidbey and Camino, you are going over a little bridge that you don't even realize connects the two, the mainland, which they call us mainlanders that live on the other side, and the Whidbey and Camino Islanders. So you're definitely in a whole different place. It has I think a different sort of eco feel to it, and certainly a different lifestyle, even from Seattle, which I think is, has a pretty amazing and different type of lifestyle.
And so did you, when you went there, did you go on your boat, or do we call it a boat?
Well, my husband has been, this boat project, this 5-year boat project, of which thank God 3 are down, has been concentrating on the San Juan and the Canadian islands. When we go to Whidbey and Camino, we take the car because it's only like 40 minutes from where we live. So, which is nice. But we could take the boat over there if we wanted to, but we haven't yet.
Okay. Hey, there's next year because you're definitely going there again. So I'm excited about this. Everyone, you can keep up with Diva Linda if you go to allingoodtaste.info. Her article will also be up on blendradioandtv.com in the next couple of days, and you'll see it in an upcoming issue of Big Blend Radio and TV magazine because this is one of these, features where there's food, there's wine, there's distilleries, there's all kinds of lodging, there's history, there's everything packed into. It's amazing, this experience that you had. So I'm very excited about this. And I want to bring our next guest on. We've got Chef Vincent Nattrass over from Orchard Kitchen. So you can go to orchardkitchen.com. And this is really exciting because it's a restaurant, but a community-style restaurant. You come in at one time and everybody eats together. There's an organic farm right there on the property, and I believe there's also classes. So welcome to the show, Chef. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. Living the island life.
Cool.
I know. It's like, okay, so are you guys all out in, swimwear all year round, right? No, it's a little different in the Pacific Northwest, right? Would you say?
It's a little cooler here right now. It wants to get dark around 4:30 in the afternoon. This very deep in December. But the converse of that is if you're here in May, June, July, August, the area is bright and light until late past 9 o'clock at night, and
wow.
It's a great place for growing things. And Whidbey is the closest island to the ones we've talked about today to the Seattle area. We're just a 4-mile ferry ride from the mainland. We Islanders call it America, and you can be here from downtown Seattle in less than an hour and a half. So
nice though.
If you when you live here like I do, you don't want to have to go to America. You want to stay on the island, but we find that we have pretty much everything we need right here.
Cool.
So weren't you born and raised in Whidbey?
Well, we don't want to talk about where I was born because I was born in the Seaward. I was born in California. But my parents moved here when I was 9, so I did grow up most of my life here. And then I spent a lot of my time working in Napa Valley when I was in my 20s and 30s, and then moved back here because I just couldn't stay away. So we came back for the opportunity of having a farm of our own with a restaurant of our own, and being able to do all of the things that were a little bit wouldn't have been possible in Napa Valley.
And, I've been watching you guys on Instagram and what you're cooking and what you're growing, and I'm just like, I want to go there so bad. I want to go hang out and, can I go, pick things or, dig holes, whatever you need, I'll do.
You can
great
come
at digging.
And pet the rabbits and the goats and the chickens and hang out on the patio and have a glass of wine and then have dinner with us, or you can come and have a class. We don't teach the classes during the peak of the season, which is for us between July and the beginning of October, but this time of year we teach classes every Saturday in the morning, and we're open Thursday through Saturday for dinners, and we say it's more like going to a dinner party than going to a restaurant. So everyone arrives at the same time. We have past hors d'oeuvres and beer and wine, and everyone sits down for the same multi-course menu. It's a little bit more like the menu style at Chez Panisse than in most restaurants. There's just one menu offered each week.
Nice. And it's really nice because there's an open kitchen, so you see pretty much everything that's going on from the time that you walk in to the time that you leave. And it's like this wonderful culinary dance. Everybody, I think, pretty much knows what they're supposed to be doing, but Chef is running around just, doing a touch here and a touch there and asking, are you okay over there, and maybe redirecting a little bit. But we were lucky, the group of writers I was with, we were lucky because we got to sit at the bar. I don't know what it takes to sit at the bar, but that's the place I would suggest because you were staring right into the kitchen.
Yeah, there's just 6 seats at the counter, so you have to know who to talk to. You got to talk to my wife to get those seats. But
Hyla.
So Chef,
everybody emails Hyla.
Chef, are you like
now I'm in trouble.
Are you like Gordon Ramsay? And people are watching people in the kitchen, and you start screaming, yelling.
I'm so not like Gordon Ramsay in so many ways, but I hope that the food that we do is of a very high caliber. So it's very much a farm focused restaurant. The thing that we wanted when we started this restaurant was to really focus on the farming that happens on Whidbey Island, and Whidbey Island is one of the places where farming has happened in Washington State longer than anywhere else. So the little town just north of here where I grew up, Coupeville, is one of the oldest towns in Washington, and that area, the Eby's Prairie, has been the prime farmland for Washington State since 1850. So we're blessed to have a climate here where we can grow lots and lots of stuff. Just like the San Juans, we're in the rain shadow of the Olympic Peninsula. We get a little bit less rain than Seattle does. And it's just I have never had produce. I've been cooking for over 30 years. I cooked in the south of France. I've cooked in Napa. I've never had produce that's better than what we grow on our property. It's amazing.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing.
That is.
And thank you for saying Ibi, because I was wondering how to pronounce that one too. I have a problem with some of your names because, it's interesting. I didn't realize how much Spanish and English history was connected to these islands and the Oregon Territory and treaties, and there's so much history too behind this. And that's when you talk about farming in Washington State. That's part of it, right? Chef, is that's what helped settle some of these islands where, people in the military and actually, there was the English-Spanish thing happening, and that was
the
part
connection
of it.
here on the island also goes back to the native people. So the area of Ibis Prairie that is was sort of the breadbasket of Washington until maybe 1875 had been maintained by the native peoples in prairie for them to grow camas bulb and other things that not farming in the sense maybe that we think of it today, but those areas were cleared and maintained for agriculture for the people that were here before us. So there's still a connection we feel to the native peoples and the tribes that are still present here on the West Coast. And certainly we see that a lot in place names too. And when you come across our two ferries, the Tokate and the Kittitas, you need to learn to pronounce those names too, because we're steeped in that history.
I can pronounce those better probably, but I want to bring Scott Hale on, and then I've got to ask Diva Linda about her experience, because the reason you're both on the show is because she had an awesome time and she's a diva, and I want to know if she had to have special shoes for island hopping.
Yeah,
but,
we want to know about
Scott,
the shoes.
Scott Hale, and I love his title. He's we always hear CEO, executive director, I'm this, I'm that. He says, no, I love this. I want to steal it. Chief Experience Officer.
Oh,
I love this. Of Brand New Stay. And, welcome to this show. Scott, how are you? Are you having a good experience?
Yeah. No, it's tremendous. Yeah, very nice.
Okay, I love this Chief Experience Officer, because I was looking at Brand New Stay and what you do, and it seems that you're really looking at the experience of everybody, like the full picture, whether it is the Island Inn at 123 West, where I know you represent them at Friday Harbor. Everybody go to 123west.com, and also Leanto glamping sites at Moran State Park, and that's stayleanto.com, unless I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. But it seems like you're always trying to go to the full experience, every little detail has got to be taken care of.
Absolutely, yeah. Every detail matters is certainly our motto out here. And as Chef mentioned, we're tightly knit, small community, and we do everything possible to celebrate these beautiful islands we get to invite our guests to. So it's critical that locally sourced, socially responsible, all those big buzzwords are just the way of life around here. So it's fun to invite guests to just an exceptional experience that's truly unique and specific to what these islands offer. And certainly, as you travel throughout the San Juans, you do realize that each one has a bit of a different personality. So San Juan Island would feel different to a guest traveling than Orcas Island would. And I think the experiences we've crafted out here sort of really, really illustrate that well.
That's just neat. I love that each place is so unique and different, because, it's that means you have a sense of place, and you've kept it, and I think you have to as an island. So with the lodging side of things, are you trying to reflect also the actual culture? And I know you're glamping on Orcas Island, so that's an estate park. So you've got big trees. I mean, who thinks about big forests on an island? I saw that photo.
Yeah, definitely. No, Moran State Park is jaw-dropping. There's no way around it. It's over 5,500 acres. There's 30 miles of hiking, 5 freshwater lakes, the big old growth, as you mentioned, waterfalls, the highest point in the San Juans, and Mount Constitution. So really a tremendous caliber park to have on an island, which just computing it, 5,000 acres sounds like it's the entire island, but it's not even half of Orcas Island. So it is a spectacular venue, and to be, able to host our glamping experience in the center of all that majesty is really, really pretty special for us, and certainly for the guests. So we do all that we can to celebrate the historical components of the park, and Robert Moran and his, donation of effectively that land to the state, and became one of the first major parks in Washington State Park system. And so we sort of see it as our responsibility to steward as best we can and sort of invite guests to the next legacy of the park and such a unique experience.
So the islands definitely capture the history. It's like the beginning when people, float in to conquer America, or what? Float in. It's like, hey, Diva Linda knows about floating in. Real quick before I want to hear about Diva Linda's experience. Would you say you get a lot of European guests coming in to both Friday Harbor and also at Moran State Park? Are you getting more Europeans or more local? Like, where are people coming from, Scott?
Sure. Yeah. The San Juans in general definitely attract a huge audience. So we get a tremendous amount of domestic travelers, certainly regional, and southeast, northeast, all over the United States here. And in the springtime, it seems that there's a little bit of a bump in travel from Europe. And it seems like annually we get a little bit more traffic from Europe each year.
Interesting. It's because you have Euro rooms. I saw that at the 123.
Right.
At the end, it was like, hey, it's the Island Inn, and you had these suites that overlook the harbor. It's awesome. But Diva Linda, okay. So number one, shoes. Do you have to have special island hopping shoes for this expedition of hopping islands, San Juan and Orcas and Whidbey, or does anything float? Oh, yes.
No, yes, and you have to have a suitcase of shoes.
There's the Diva stylist right there.
Because if you look and you listen to the gentlemen that are speaking and you read my article, you'll see that you're doing everything from walking around in the farm, and I mean, look, it's amazing to go in the farm and Scott actually lets you. Not Scott, Chef Vincent actually lets you run around in his garden. So you wouldn't use your blinged slippers to go in there. And, it can rain one day. It can be wet the next day. It could be sunny the next day. So you need to bring a pair of sandals. And they should have a theme on them. They should have like a palm tree or something because it is island life. And then you need a good pair of mud boots. And stylish, of course, cool. Maybe patent leather that, will do the rain. And then you need a pair of boots that you won't, or shoes that you won't slip in that cover your toes and your heel. So three types of shoes, and, just make sure that most of them, including your sandals, are waterproof.
I like this.
Yep.
Good. I want the mud boots. I haven't worn mud boots.
That sounds like fun to me.
Oh yeah, wonderful. Like since living in England, I haven't. I mean that.
Anytime you say mud, I'm in.
Yeah, I'm into that.
Yeah.
So now, Diva Linda, I know. Let's talk about Whidbey Island because, I know we've got Farm to Table. We'll talk a little bit more with Chef Vincent here, but you also, I know you love art, and I know you love gardens. Like before we get into all that, the whole island experience. Did you get to see plants and flowers and things that you love like that, garden style?
It is. It's just, and shopping. It's wonderful. It's very artsy. It'll appeal to the sensitive soul. It's just, oh my gosh. One of the first stops we made was Callahan's Firehouse in Langley, not because it's a firehouse, but because it's a glass-blowing studio and gallery.
But firemen were involved at some point, so that's good.
At some point, so it used to be a firehouse, and so they just, I think as part of the deal, they kept the name when the firehouse went out and the art studio went in. But I think that the main thing is there's a demonstration portion of it that you can actually become part of. And so you can make your own glass paperweight or huge something or other. They have many choices. Plus, I think if you talk to them, you can probably do something special. But the patience of these guys. I mean, they're letting you behind where all the furnaces and the hot glass and the powders and everything are, and they certainly have you say things like stand on this X right here, don't move. And don't put your hand out too far and so forth. So they're incredibly patient as you're spinning glass, you're putting things in, and watchful, putting things in furnaces and stuff. And, I mean, I made a simple paperweight, and it was actually quite complex, but just the spinning and seeing him blowing on it and watching the cooling process and picking out colors. I mean, for somebody who well, even if you don't like art projects, I think you would like this art project because it's wonderful. The person I went with, we were there in the fall, and she did a beautiful glass pumpkin, just absolutely gorgeous, and it was a seasonal reminder of where she'd been. So, there's just all this glass art, and of course, if you go to Seattle, there's the Chihuly Studios there, where that is just mind blowing. And I don't know, I think if you went to a Chihuly studio first in Seattle and then came over here and thought maybe I'll try, a Chihuly piece or something, it would be very interesting. But at least, to be able to go behind the counter and actually hold the tools and bang on the stuff and, feel the flames and so forth was really, just an exceptional experience. Just really loved it. And then
I would love that.
Yeah,
I want to do that really badly. I've never done it. I have a friend who makes glass beads and stuff, which is really cool. But, being able to make a paperweight Diva Linda, that's the sister or brother of a snow globe, right? I'm just saying.
That's right.
You know how we love
right.
those.
I asked him if they did snow globes, and, he didn't find that amusing. But so the paper, it was the next. Yeah, so I just put it on a stand, and throw sparklies at it, so it's fine. But something very interesting in the taste experience. When you taste things in Whidbey and Camano Islands, it's not like you were downtown Seattle, and that's real important because, in example, the Mukilteo Coffee Roasters, it's a cafe in the woods. Number one, you have to find this thing, and it's not really on GPS. So first time you go, maybe you really need really good directions. But it's honest to God in the middle of the woods. And now there's an art studio that's going to be next to it. But, it is truly a Northwest Island experience. You're going to be around the trees. You're going to be in the grass. You're going to be in the, the Northwest sort of feels wet or moist or misty. And, how fun to be able to go and get wonderful global coffee from a man that is so inspirational in the middle of the woods. You're not going downtown. You're going on a trip in the woods, and there it is. And it's nice if the stuff tastes good too. But boy, what an experience! It's you got to go there, and you got to buy some coffee, and you have to take it home, and you have to ask, what's your newest global coffee, because they bring something in all the time that's different. It's only there for a little bit of time, and it's a place to eat if you like, but you can sit next to the totem pole and outside, or you can be inside. But I don't know. I just thought for me, it was one of those, if you're gonna go to a place, experience the place, and that Mukilteo Coffee Roasters and Cafe in the Woods was just, memorable. And of course, the third place I went was the Orchard Kitchen. Now, I've been to a lot of food to table chef dinners and so forth in my travels, and we often talk about them on here. I think what was so much fun about this was it was almost like you're a family the minute you step on the property. There's no pretentious behavior. It's just a really nice farmhouse kind of experience, and the owners are walking around, and you're being fed the minute you walk in the door, and you can go out in the garden. And I have a photo of myself out in their garden that I use on my Facebook page because I'm really proud of it. It's just absolutely beautiful. And the dinner was unbelievable. Oh my Lord, it was just way too much food and just way good, and one of the best I've had in the world. Really, really good.
That is awesome to hear. It seems like this really localized experience. We talk about sense of place all the time, but people are really doing it 100%. This really authentic experience, and having the art. And then, the coffee, this is something that is being crafted. It's not like being shipped in from China, not that there's anything wrong with that. Oopsie. But, I'm just saying this, it's so important that we have these things so we understand the value of food, the value of a paperweight, the value of a piece of art that you see and when you get to go to these experiences, it's so important. Chef Simpson, I wanted to touch on that because what you do is culinary arts. And so isn't that part of the bigger experience, is that you're like this educational facility, whether it being people tasting or learning or being able to see where food is grown and that it's on an island that people may not think would be this kind of island?
I just think it's incredibly important, not just for us, but for everyone to know where their food comes from. We're blessed that we have this island where farming has been part of our tradition for 160 years, but we have now new generations of farmers where the farming is being done not on big 60 or 100 acre ranches, but in 1 acre, 2 acres, up to 10 acres by young people who are interested in learning about farming sustainably. And for me, the chance to have this restaurant also is a chance to support local farmers and educate people about what farming is. I have a friend in Coupeville who I grew up with, Georgie Smith at Willowwood Farms, and she does farm dinners there, and she talks about how when she does her little tour and takes people out into the field and sticks a shovel in the ground and pulls a carrot out of the ground from folks in the city, she hears an audible gasp. And for us on the island, it's kind of funny, but it's indicative of the fact that most of us are far removed from where our food comes from. And so coming out to the island is a chance to come out and really try to reconnect to where the food comes from. And when the food is that fresh and it's that close to the place it's produced, the flavor experience is completely different. You're not going to taste a carrot like that's been in the grocery store after having been picked 2 or 3 weeks or a month ago.
I know
that's true. And then I think also because of the word island, you think coconut trees or not agriculture like that. Maybe sugarcane, but not. You just don't see. I don't think vegetables.
And you think everything's being imported in.
The other thing of thinking about with an island is that there was a time when these islands needed to be self-sustaining. And so here on Whidbey, we really do think about Whidbey being self-sustaining and about the fact that what are we producing here? We're using the wine that's produced on the island. We're using the seafood that comes from our shores. We're using the beef and the lamb and the pork that are raised on the island. We're using the row crops that are grown here. So it's really about that sustainable aspect of this all-inclusive community here. The art is a huge part of it as well.
I love that. And just one last thing on that is, you talk about you've got your farm and everything, but going to the pork terrine, or some of us may call it hog-fed cheese. And I'm just saying, just seeing these. So I wanted to ask about that, where your proteins come from. Obviously, you're going to get seafood locally, right?
Well, we're blessed that we have Penn Cove Shellfish here, which is one of the oldest producers of aquaculture protein in the form of oysters, clams, and mussels. So a great sustainable form of aquaculture. We also have Three Sisters Cattle Company up in Oak Harbor that has the Mizels have been farming here for over 100 years. They produce beef, pork, lamb. We have local egg We have 50 hens. We produce our own eggs. There are other farmers for pigs. Glendale Shepherd is an amazing dairy, probably one of the best dairies in the entire Northwest, and they're right here on Whidbey Island. They win amazing awards at national cheese shows for their cheeses, and we get cheese from them that's amazing. But we also get lamb from them. So there's a lot of there's been a renaissance of food on Whidbey Island. I grew up here, and in the 70s and 80s it was not like this, and now we're seeing new restaurants, places like the Oyster Catcher, places like Saltwater and Prima and the Inn at Langley and others that are really Fraser's in Oak Harbor that are doing amazing things with food, and that goes hand in hand with these farms that are really rising to the challenge, working with the chefs and working to produce just amazing culinary experiences here on Whidbey Island.
Right on. Now, Diva Linda, did you stay at Whidbey Island, or did you get back on your boat?
Yes,
no,
I did. Yeah, I was at the Langley Inn, which it's an upper end inn, so it's but it's certainly not costly like if you were in LA or Japan or something. But I'm telling you, it's right on the water. It has a spa. It's beautiful. You can walk to all the places. You can walk to a town that has lots and lots of shopping. You can just the food at the inn is just exceptional. It's another crazy. They have just a crazy, wonderful dining experience. I had to choose between the dining experience at the inn and Orchard Kitchen, and either one could have been just, both are just top notch for how they present things. And I don't know, just absolutely. The Inn at Langley is wonderful, and the other inn. So if you're not into high end stuff, I can also recommend Coachman Inn in Oak Harbor, and that's sort of at the other end of the island, and it's sort of like the motels, the road motels that we used to have. That's one of them, and it's affordable, large rooms, and you can spend your money instead of at the spa. You can go out and have a wonderful dinner at Fraser's or Orchard Kitchen. So either one is just fine. There's something for everybody.
Right on. Now, Camano Island, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting these, and everybody, it's lean-to, not Leonto for the glamping. Okay, I'm getting this straight here because, to me, I go Dutch on these different names, and it's like, it's I'm African. Sorry, it's a South African thing, but, some things sound Spanish, and then some sides it's British. It's like, okay, I'm going to learn this. But Camano Island, everybody, Camano, Camano Island. This is interesting because you have a state park, but what's neat to me is like it's one of those old school resorts, and there's boat building and wooden boats and things.
It's really
Camano is the other half of Island County, but it's not connected to Whidbey. So you can get to Camano by car. You get to Whidbey by either ferry from Mukilteo or from the Olympic Peninsula from Port Townsend, or you can drive across Deception Pass Bridge, which is actually the second most popular attraction in Washington State. Camano is between us and Snohomish County, and that's accessible by, as we were mentioning earlier, a very short bridge.
So, Diva Linda, for you, what did you do when you went over there? I'm glad everything seems so accessible, and I'm glad everyone's pointing that out because I think people get nervous about islands. They think, oh, how am I going to get over? It's like, I think this is
Chef
really
Vincent
good to
may
hear
have
how accessible it is.
Chef Vincent may have a different take on this, but I'm thinking Whidbey Island is the glamorous sister. And Camano Island is not as built up. It doesn't have as many things to do closely connected. It reminds me more of a beach cottage place where you would go and just relax, right? I didn't see a ton of shopping except for
right.
Is that right? Oh, good. So I think either way you go, they're only about they're about an hour apart and by road, and it's but their world it's different. And so what I enjoyed on Camano Island was three things: the Kama State Beach Park, and they're hilarious, wonderful, old-fashioned lodges that you stay in that have a bedroom in the living room and an old-fashioned kitchen and a porch. And this is not glamorous glamping. This is, you want to do glamping, you need to go over with Scott. But this is no-nonsense cabins, and it's your park experience. So you need hiking boots for this. Forgot about the hiking boots. You need hiking boots for this. You'll need your mud boots because you're right on the water. I mean, you are right there.
I like that.
And it's wonderful. And then, of course, if you have any idea about wanting to learn about how to make wooden boats or why wooden boats are the way they are, right there, right amongst all the cabins, is the Wooden Boat Center. It's fascinating, and I'm really surprised that there's still funding for this. But it is a glorious place, and you can swim, and you can fish, and you can hike, and you just be who you need to be. But it's not glamorous, but it's glorious. It's not glamorous, but it's glorious. The only shopping I found there on the short time I was there was Camano Island Marketplace, which I think is a marketplace in it's sort of finding its way. So it's just fine now. You can get all sorts of food, and there's coffee, and there's a little shopping area. It's at Terry's Corner. I think it has the right idea, and I think as I go back each year in the summer, I'll be interested to see how they've sort of tweaked it and brought in more stuff. Who survived, who didn't. But I really enjoyed it. But it doesn't have the shopping that you get in Coupeville or on Whidbey Island. And then the last thing that is just absolutely wonderful about Camano Island is this thing called Canopy Tours Northwest. That's zip lining. And this is just
cool.
This is zip lining.
I'm in.
Oh my Lord, it is beautiful, and you get to go over the forest, and you get to see how the forest floor fits together. In other words, how all the parts come together. I mean, it's green and it's dense and it's beautiful, and you not only zip around but you walk around, and you're met at a century-old barn, and they get you all ready to go, and they they make sure no matter what shape you're in that you can do this. It's a really great Northwest experience, and I'd say even if it's rainy, you ought to go. And I think it's open 24. It's open not 24 hours a day, but 12 months a year, and I
awesome.
can imagine just how beautiful, and just think about it being able to have access to streams and forest floors, and somebody who loves this land and has been in the family for years and they're just trying to find something to do with the land so they don't have to sell it to people who make houses.
Oh, wow. No, I love this. You've got to protect it and keep it authentic.
You've got to protect it.
Did you zip line and do a Tarzan yell?
Yeah.
No, we'll try that next year because, as you know, I'm having a little bit of a back issue here. So, but doctor says in the summer I'll be able to go, and I really want to do it. I got to walk around and so forth, and it just looks unbelievably beautiful.
They need to send Carol Burnett out there so she can do this. Yeah. She's the Tarzan yell. I mean, she does Tarzan yelling better than Tarzan. Okay, that would be the best. Like to have Carol Burnett go through. I know, and she should go there anyway. Okay, last thing on there. So lodging-wise, Camino Island Inn and Spa. So, you got a spa experience out there, too. So that's important for the zip liners.
This is just a beautiful piece of property, once again, right on the water. And we got to see the orcas zoom by, and they were spouting and playing, and it was just really wonderful. It was really special. It's a special property, and it's the rooms are spa-like is the best I can say. And there's not very many of them, so it's a true inn. And there's a young chef there that's finding his way, and probably Chef Vincent knows where he was, and they stole him away to come to the inn. There's a good story that goes with the chef that's there now, but so we had a wonderful dinner, and it was I highly recommend it. Once again, it's not as expensive as the Inn at Langley, but it's still up there in price. Once again, not Japanese prices or LA prices, but it could be pricey.
Okay. So, and everyone, again, Diva Linda's article is going to be up on BlendRadioandTV.com and in Big Blend Radio and TV magazine, so you'll get all the details there. But I want to talk about now the San Juan Islands, Friday Harbor. Okay, so this harbor area, we want to talk about where we can stay, and I know Scott can help us there. And I think I pronounced island correctly, so I'm getting there somewhere. But Friday Harbor. To me, this is really neat because you've got a beautiful harbor area, but this is important. You've got wine in a distillery. That's important.
Woohoo!
That's very important. Very important. So who knew? They have a winery there, and then they have a distillery there as well. Two separate places. And if you like gins, the distillery makes 12 different gins. They make liqueurs, flavored brandies. I mean, their apple brandy, I think, is award-winning, and it was magnificent. So you ought to, my idea is to stay with Scott at one of those inns in Friday Harbor, which are beautiful. I mean, they're knockout. Oh my God, they're beautiful. And then go rent a moped, or what they call a scoot coupe. It's like a three-wheeled thing that you can just zoom around in. I mean, it's hilarious, but it gets you where you want to go. Yeah, or the electric bike is very popular, I understand. And then you can just sort of wander around the island. The roads are very nice and very safe. And, just get out there and Friday Harbor is one of my favorite places. We take our boat there all the time, especially so I can shop because it's quite nice. The Friday Harbor Inn restaurant is spectacular. The view is is a world famous view. I mean, it's just unbelievably beautiful. And so just get out on one of those things. And I think they also have Google something that has people that'll come and get you right off the ferry and take you around the island if you don't want to do an electric bike or whatever, a moped. But it's Friday Harbor is just a wonderful place, and I've always loved it after going and staying at Scott's places, because those inns are just. How old are those inns, Scott? They're just not very old, right?
Yeah. The Island Inn was actually the building itself was completed in 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Then we opened up as the hotel in May 2011. So effectively brand spanking new for the island. It's pretty recent.
So they're contemporary with warmth, and the views are just outstanding. The furnishings are really wonderful. We had, I think, four of our members stayed at the inns up there. I was at a bed and breakfast, but they were at the inns, and they didn't want to go. They liked it better than the other fancier things that we had seen. They're really nice. I highly recommend them.
I want to give everyone the website to that too. It's 123west.com, and that's the numbers 123west.com. Scott, with that, it's interesting because you've got penthouses and then the Euros, which I was talking about earlier. What's the difference between that? Because at the Euros, it seems like there's even a way, like if you're a group travel, that you could stay in there.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So the inn is effectively a good crowd pleaser. You've got, as you mentioned, the Euros. We've got suites, and we've got penthouses. And we actually spell suites correctly. So SWEETS is how we pen our suites.
And I can pronounce that. And coffee-flavored coffee too. Yeah.
That's right. So effectively, small, medium, and large. Euro guest rooms are streamlined design, nice compact guest rooms directly attached to a shared living space. So you've got a great community vibe down there. All the personalization and high-level amenities that were previously mentioned. Suites, you get a little bit more elbow room, and you get a little bit more cushier amenities and rain showers and solo soaking tubs and heated floors in the washrooms and the whole program there. And
nice.
Penthouses are literally off the charts. I mean, I'm in one now, fortunately enough, and we've got full residential amenities. 3 out of the 7 penthouses have rooftop decks. You've got
nice.
high-end kitchen appliances. You've got fireplaces, a couple of bedrooms, a couple of bathrooms, depending on the unit. And they really are so well appointed that it feels nice and comfortable. So it's certainly edgy, modern, spacious, and clean, but also a nice, cozy vibe that we really try to instill in all of our experiences here.
Can I have the rooftop?
It's an easy walk. It's an easy walk from the ferry. You can drag your suitcases. Yeah, it's really easy. Yeah.
That's a good point, because you're bringing your luggage. Yeah. You're not bringing your car, or you are.
Well, you can, absolutely. You can definitely drive on the ferry boat. So certainly, there's a great experience there. You can drive the vehicle right on the ferry boat, cruise right off. We're a couple hundred yards from the ferry landing, and that's a great opportunity as well to see the island and explore. Because while Friday Harbor offers endless opportunity for the good food and art and cafe culture, there's these tremendous natural places that you'll certainly want to check out on San Juan, from Cattle Point to Lime Kiln up to Roach Harbor and everything in between. So. Certainly vehicle friendly as well.
Oh, that's good to know. That's again, the accessibility is a big deal. Now, Orcas Island, this is getting interesting. So there's East Sound. Now, Diva Linda, this is where you went off, because there's apparently chocolate, and there's baked goodies, and there's a downtown and shopping. So that's the first thing you did, right?
That's correct. It's one of the first islands that my husband taunted me with about being good, so I'll stay on the boat with him, for 6 months. He said, well, there's a place called East Sound that everybody says is so wonderful. So we'll take the boat in there. So you can take a private boat in there. You can take the ferry to there. You can, get off the ferry and take a car to there or whatever. But East Sound is a really cute, small little village, and but it's artsy. It's fun. It's fun artsy. It's a real fun sort of art. It has a grocery store, which if you're a pleasure boater, that's important. It has a really nice store, and it has the most wonderful, decadent chocolate in the entire world. Oh, my Lord, that stuff is good. It's called Catherine Taylor Chocolates. I think Catherine Taylor is the daughter of the owners. and Brown Bear Bakery are two guys who bought this bakery, and their food is so delicious. They make, oh my gosh, the best cinnamon buns in the entire world, seriously. And they're the kindest, sweetest men, and the coffee is fabulous. And you could just, they're right across the street from each other, Brown Bear Bakery and Catherine Taylor Chocolate. So you really, if you didn't want to do anything else but run between the two, life would be good.
I want to ask that, Chef Vincent, it seems like everything is really specialized when it comes to what we're enjoying, on the food and what we're savoring drink-wise. Do all the islands get together? Like, do you guys all talk to each other? Like, if you're going to use chocolate, would you use their chocolate or the wines and, and things like that? Do you guys, ship things off by ferry to each other from island to island?
Well, it's interesting. There used to be traditionally there was the mosquito fleet that connected these islands together. So it used to be that Langley and Camino were just a few-minute ferry ride apart, but the ferry system now is a little bit different. But
right.
We do see, for ourselves, we definitely see the Salish Sea, which is the whole area from south of Seattle and down to Olympia, all the way up the inside of Vancouver Island, as part of the same sort of our same food shed. So we eat spot prawns, they eat spot prawns. We fish for Dungeness crab, they fish for Dungeness crab. Clams and geoduck and all that, they're all part of our same common food traditions here in the Salish Sea.
Oh, okay. So good. So you're all connected in that way. The other part is, you think about the Pacific Northwest. I remember hiking up Lake Cochise a few years back, and there were huckleberries and all kinds of berries everywhere. And then I was like, when I got to the purple ones, I said, what will happen if I eat this? But anyway, everything went fine. But even Oregon is like that with all these berries. So jam, apparently, Diva Linda, you found like the dirty girl or girl meets dirt jams. I mean, like you found like some good jams. It's a big deal because don't get the stuff in the store. It's different.
No, this is a wonderful roadside stand in a way, and it's on your way to the ferry when you're going to be leaving. And oh my gosh, these are heritage varietal jams that are made from trees on the island, on Orcas Island. And if I get the story right, and I hope I have it right, but if not, it's a good one. There's lots of orchards that have been neglected, and so as you drive around, you see all this fruit everywhere with nobody tending it. And I think at first the girls just sort of went and gathered some of the stuff up. And of course, the better they got at it, the more they sold, the more they had to get more organized, and then they had to do actual contracts and so forth and so on. But they are actually interested in making sure that the island's fruit heritage is preserved within their company. I mean, they used unrefined organic cane sugar, a squeeze or two of lemon, and they do all this by hand in seasoned copper pans, all in their particular island kitchen. It's I'll be interested to see if they can keep that up as the years go on, because it's so good and it's shippable and it's an easy souvenir to bring home. Will they be able to keep it on the island, or will they have to, in order to become a bigger brand in Costco or one of those, are they going to have to, outsource to Seattle where there's a, larger commercial kitchen? I don't know. I hope not. I wish them every success, but right now they're doing wonderful things, and God love them. Everybody should buy something from them. The jams are really wonderful.
Awesome, man. I love to hear about that, because I think it's also a craft that we forget about, I remember learning about it in school, and now I wonder if kids are getting taught, jams and terrines and hogshead cheese and things, It's important that we use everything, right? So let's talk about glamping, because this is so exciting. I know that, we have friends in Southern California, in Palomar Mountain, that do this, and it's glamping. We, over the years had to educate people about what glamping was, and it's luxury camping, and, there was just this shift, and then all of a sudden, once people cotton onto their place, it's like, I mean, Nancy and I are really good friends and promote them, and we can't get a night there now because it is so popular. And so Lean-To, I'm getting it right, Leanto, so it's staylean-to.com, go there. And I like that, because in South Africa we used to say lean-tos, and that was kind of where you'd camp out in, so I get it. But this luxury camping out in the middle of a forest. Tell us a little bit about that experience, Scott, because do people, do you have to bring your sleeping bag, or is it like you just show up with your clothes?
You effectively just show up. Yeah, our tagline is "Take the easy way out." So certainly, we're all about crafting experience that attracts a huge audience and makes the great outdoors easy versus scary. So more people enjoying the great outdoors is good for all of us with our public lands and treasured state parks. The next generation certainly needs to appreciate and engage in these special places, so they'll be there for future generations. So yeah, we've got the easy way out. Handcrafted and built right in the middle of the park there. So we've got canvas wall tents on cedar deck platforms, pillow top beds. You've got dressers, table chairs, water jugs, and everything you need to have an amazing, comfortable camping experience. And it's an authentic experience. So you won't have electricity in the tent. You won't have a Keurig coffee maker. You won't have an electric fireplace. You won't have any electricity or running water in the tent. It's an authentic camping experience, but you do have all these comfortable features and the reality that it's already set up for you that allows you to really engage in what a camping experience would look and feel like. So, and it's totally satisfying and heartwarming to see maybe folks that were maybe a little bit nervous or afraid of camping outside, or kids that had literally never spent the night outside, or folks that used to go camping all the time and sort of got away from it, and now they're just re-engaging in the activity. So it's a lot of fun. It's a really totally cool thing. I spend the night out there and just I've done it several times, obviously, but it's something just super cool about being comfortable in a forest.
Yeah,
it just doesn't equate. It's like, whoa, this is great.
I think it's a really big deal because a lot of times people steer away from the outdoors. That's why I'm going to ask you guys about the 1 hour walk thing. Is actually came from a lot of conversations, and Diva Linda is a big part of that too, where a lot of people don't go into anything in the outdoors because they assume that they have to be some backpacker that's climbed Mount Everest, or that they have to be totally equipped with all this gear, and it's not like that now. And there's these opportunities that I think it's just so important to get people outdoors. What can we do to get people unplugged from their phones and to actually breathe fresh air and have a conversation over a campfire? So I think what you're doing with this is just so important. It's so important because all ages can pretty much do this unless somebody really needs like strong electricity and things like that. And special needs. This is something that pretty much everyone can go and enjoy as a family, right? And get to have that experience of all ages.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. It's a huge audience and a bigger audience than traditional camping may attract just because of those fear factors are removed. And we definitely see with families, additional generations sort of joining in. So you have like the core parents and kiddos, and then the grandparents jump in because they say, hey, what? We're not on the ground? Nice. We're going to get ourselves a tent with a bed. Let's do this. And, year by year, we're very fortunate to have a lot of repeat guests. And so the family groups sort of grow. And, instead of just a couple of sites, you've got them taking multiple sites and friends and this sort of thing. So it's, camping effectively is a great community adventure, right? So the closeness and the lack of cell phone coverage and the lack of the electricity really allows you to engage with the ones you like best and have a good old time around the campfire and all those amazing bonding things that you just really can't do elsewhere. And the setting we've got, we're very spoiled to have that, of course, to really spur that connectivity. And the endless outdoor adventure definitely adds to the daytime fun that groups can certainly enjoy together as well.
Awesome. I think it's important, when you're looking at spending outdoor time, especially if you're not used to it, and when you talk about camping, the idea is to enjoy the outdoors, not spend 20 minutes trying to roll out a sleeping bag, get on your hands and knees, and try to stand up.
Oh, wow.
Exactly right.
No, it's true. Depending on your age and your experience in the outdoors, sometimes you're either enjoying the outdoors or you're battling the outdoors.
Yeah.
So when we can now enjoy the outdoors in a modern kind of way, so that you're not really fighting the outdoors, you're just enjoying it. I'm down for that.
It's coexist, man.
Yeah.
Okay. I love
I'm
it.
down for that.
I love it. So everybody, before you go, okay, I got a special song to play for Diva Linda too, because she's a diva. Well, I think you're going to know what it is. But before you go, we've got this whole movement, and everyone can go to onehourwalk.com to get people outside. And a 1 hour walk is about not necessarily hiking Kilimanjaro, like I was saying. It is about take your time, take a fresh breath of air. Like just enjoy, talk with your friends, or observe all the little things. And I think I would like to go to the islands for sure, all of them, and take a 1 hour walk. I want to go to Orcas for sure. So I want to know from each of you, you get to take a 1 hour walk, nice and easy walk. Where would it be, and who would you take on that walk? So let's start with you, Scott, because I know you have to get on a ferry.
Right, that's right. It's the island commute, right? Yeah. So I think I know where I would go, but whom I would go with, I'm not sure of. But Lime Kiln State Park on San Juan Island is probably my most favorite stroll in the San Juans. That's a special place where sometimes you're fortunate enough for those orca whales to just sort of scoot by and say hello. So that's one of the compelling reasons to stroll there. And probably who I'd love to invite is anybody that's not seen an orca whale in the wild. So it's just a tremendously special experience, especially viewing them from land. So that's where and with whom is a big question mark.
Okay, I'm coming with you because I've never seen an orca whale in the wild.
Right.
I've seen great white sharks, though. Does that count? I want to see an orca. I've never seen one, and I'm dying to get out there just to do that. So, Chef Vincent, what about you? Where do you want to take a 1 hour walk? In your garden, your veggie garden, or no? Where do you want to go, and who with?
Sorry, guys, I've got the best 1 hour walk in the world on Whidbey Island, which is Eby's Landing. From Eby's Landing up the bluff, the top of the hill, you look to the north and see Mount Baker and the Cascades. You look across the water to Port Townsend and the Olympic Peninsula. You can see the San Juan Islands from there. You continue down the bluff and then down to the beach, walk back along the beach. It's just the most sublime place, one of the most sublime places in the entire world. So definitely that with my kids, that's the best place to go.
Awesome. Diva Linda, what shoes, where, and with who? I'm going to say what shoes.
Yeah, what shoes? Put your mud boots on, and to get to Whidbey Island, you have to go over Deception Pass, which is a very scenic, deep, scary sort of bridge. And on the other side of it, coming from Anacortes or Seattle over to the island, down below, so you're way up on this high bridge, but then you can drive your car down below it, and you take your 1 hour walk. You park your car, and you take your 1 hour walk under the bridge. It is so northwest, I can't stand it. It's all the green, it's all the water, it's all the logs, it's all the driftwood. It's a fairyland of Northwest culture and lifestyle. It's just I don't know. It's touching, and you know what? I like to do that 1 hour walk by myself. But if I had to bring somebody, I think I'd bring my dog. I think the dogs love it, and they are allowed to come and throw them a stick, and they can get in the water and all that sort of stuff. But it's just beautiful. It's clean. It's pristine. It's Northwest. There's nothing like it.
Awesome.
I like it.
I know. And there is something about taking a walk on your own and having that meditative kind of, moment, you know, just where you can think and visualize. That's how how I start my day every day, is to have that zone, you know. I want to just thank you all for joining us on the show today and giving me a lesson on how to pronounce all the names of the San Juan Islands and Whidbey Islands and the Camano Islands. I'll get it right. That just shows when you go someplace, you learn how to pronounce things, and when you haven't been there, you don't know. So, now I'm going to have to come out there. So that's just the way I roll.
You have to. You absolutely have. We'll go glamping together. I haven't been to the glamping place either, so I want to go there.
Okay, let's go glamping, Diva Linda. I've got shoes for that.
Okay,
I've got shoes for that and a margarita mixer that we don't need any electricity for. Okay?
Yeah.
We're all good.
Well, and we got a lot of campfire songs.
All right, everybody. Again, you can. I want everyone to know. Go to visitsanjuans.com, WhidbeyCamano-Islands.com. That's WhidbeyCamano Islands.com. islands.com. So Whidbey Camano Islands.com. Visit San Juans.com. And to keep up with Diva Linda and her shoes, go to allingoodtaste.info. She's got all kinds of cookbook reviews and good stuff on there because she's got good taste. Also, go to orchardkitchen.com and if you go out in that area, go check out what's going on at Chef Vincent's Kitchen and Farm. So thank you for joining us, Chef Vincent.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. And also thank you, Scott, for joining us. Scott's got a lot going on. He's got Lean-To glamping sites at Moran State Park, and that's staylean2.com, and that's LEAN, and that's what happens when you hike. You get to get lean. So staylean2.com. And also 123west.com for the Island Inn at 123 West at Friday Harbor. Everybody, again, all in Washington State. Thank you for joining us, Scott. Thank you, Diva Linda.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Now, Diva Linda, you're going to recognize this music. It's from Misha Shellhoff. It's an incredible guitarist. And, Diva Linda knows him pretty well. But this is off of his latest album, Double Take, and it's called Travel Song. We got to play that. So here it is, Travel Song.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Happy holidays.
Thanks, guys.